Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Dialing In for Amplitube 5. Today I'm going to take a look at one of what I feel is the coolest amps inside of Amplitube, and that is their Brit 9000 model, which is a model of the JCM 900. This is an amp I was quite familiar with in real life. I never owned one, but I knew people that owned one. I taught guitar in a music store who had one. I always kind of grabbed that and took it down to my teaching room to play through. I really liked this amp, and I was really excited to jump in and try the Amplitube 5 version out and see what we could get. Along with today's video, I'm going to have the preset we're going to make today available for a free download on my website. The link will be below. I will also have a more full-featured preset pack available with 4 different tones from clean to edge of breakup, overdrive, lead, with and without a full array of effects. And all the info also will be in a link below, and that's available on my website too. And I'll give you a little demo video of what this preset we're going to make today sounds like in the mix, so you can kind of hear how it works in context. So without further ado, let's dive over to Amplitube 5 and get going on this. So here we are in Amplitube 5 within Cubase 12. I am going to take you through basically my basic little setup I used on this. You'll notice if we start at the end, I'm using my normal little mastering section. I kind of have this set up on most of my presets, and I just tweak it a little bit to tailor it towards whatever amp model and sounds I'm going for. So you'll see here I have this tone so that if we just play a little bit, you're going to see it's going to give a dB or a dB and a half of gain reduction. I also have kind of some normal moves I make here at the shelf EQ on the low end, 100 hertz, boosting that 2 dB, coming into 390 hertz with a bell EQ curve and pulling out 1.5 dB, and then going up to the shelf EQ at 3,300 hertz or 3.3 kilohertz and boosting that by 1 dB. I have a low cut at 100 and a high cut at 12 kilohertz. So we're just going to turn that off for now and we'll revisit that. We will come to our cab room here and let's see what I did. I went with my old standard of putting a Royer 121 on this speaker. I kind of pulled it slightly off axis and a little bit back. A lot of times I'll have that straight on, but I didn't want this to get too abrasive sounding, so I pulled that off a little bit. I also have the condenser 87, and you'll see where we have that position. Basically dead center cone, but back as far as we can, and also angled at 45 degrees. I played around with that until I found a tone I liked, and I just blended that in at minus 11 dB, and the R121 is going to be the bulk of the tone at minus 4.6 dB. I also just left the room mics that were up there, which are the condenser 87s, also blended in very subtly just to give it a bit of a feel like it's being played in a real room. I really like the room feature on the Amplitube 5 cab room. To come back here, though, one thing I did do, I stuck with the 412 Brit 9000 cabinet that comes up stock with the Brit 9000 amp model. But one thing I did is I went through and I changed out all 4 speakers to the Brit Green. I'm a real fan of the greenback speaker with Marshall tones, so I kind of thought that would be the way to go. I can't remember if this maybe starts off with the Brit 75, which was sounding fine, but I really found it came to life a little bit more with the Brit Green, so I swapped all 4 speakers out and customized the cabinet as we can do in Amplitube. Now, coming back to the actual amp model, I actually chose to have the power level on low. I was just kind of feeling the tone a little bit better there, and I'll give you an example of what it sounds like on high as well. We have presence at 2, bass at 5, middle at 5, treble at 6, master at 7, and the gain sensitivity was at 6 and the preamp volume at 6 also. So basically with this little mastering section turned off, this is what this is going to sound like. Nothing wrong with that right out of the box. It sounds really nice. Now, if I did put that onto the high power level, this is what it sounds like. It's really going to depend on what you want sound-wise. If you want to coax a little more gain out of this, then that's one way you can do that. Now, if we come over to the mastering section, I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to turn the compressor off and the EQ off, and I'll bring the EQ in and just sort of hear how it polishes the sound up. I oftentimes refer to this as my little mastering section. Not that we're mastering anything. I think of it in those terms to just kind of make it a little more record ready and live ready. So without the EQ, it's this, as we just heard. It just gets rid of some of those frequencies that may get in the way in a recording or live if we're walking all over the bass or the kick drum. The other thing I like about that is if I do decide to switch to something like the neck pickup, it kind of cleans up that bottom end and that mud so that it's still going to be a nice usable sound. Now to bring in the white 2A compressor, well, let's see how much this is actually moving the gain reduction meters. You'll see that it's just kissing it at maybe -1. If I really hit a hard transient, it might bounce to -2. So if I take that whole mastering section away, you'll kind of hear it just polishes it up and makes it sound a little more mix ready, as I mentioned. All right, so that's the preset. What do you guys think? Well, I would like you to hear how this sounds in context in a mix. So in this little piece of music, I have the various presets from my Brit 9000 Ultimate preset pack, which I mentioned is available from my website. But the core tone of the overdrive sound is this particular preset. It's doubled in the mix, panned left and right for the main rhythm guitar. It does have a little touch of reverb on it just to help it kind of sit in that mix, but it gives you an idea of what this tone is going to sound like. All right, what did you guys think of that? I really was kind of digging it. I was really happy with the way that sounded. It was really easy to mix and have blend in really nicely with all the other elements. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please go to my website, grab this free preset. It'll be there as a free download. The link is in the description below. And also, if you're so inclined, check out the more full-featured preset pack that goes along with it, the Brit 9000 Ultimate Preset Pack, and the link will also be below for that, and you can grab that if you like the sound. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video, share it with anybody who you think would get some enjoyment or use out of watching it, and I'll be back really soon with some more content. Thanks again so much for sharing your time with me. Ciao for now.